Hello. Wait a minute. Oh, here we go. Hello. Welcome to another episode of the Xbox International Podcast. We are on flight. What number is it? I kind of got lost with the numbers. Flight
125.
125. Oh man, we already made it to 125. Only 75 more to go to reach the 200 mark, and I cannot wait till we reach the 1,000 mark, which that will be pretty soon, guys. That will be pretty soon. But hey, we have one awesome guest tonight, and his father worked for IBM. He loves creating Halo maps in Forge. He is known for hugging Megs in Sea of Thieves. He MacGyvered his internet cable back to life after it got damaged so that he could join us for this episode. The co-founder of Xbox Era and known online as Sika Mechanical, Mr. John Clark. How you doing, man? And what have you been playing? And thank you for joining us on this awesome episode, brother.
Fucking hell, after that, I feel like I need to grab a steel chair and hit someone over their head with it. That was fucking hype. I mean, whoa, I'm pumped now. God damn, and you pronounced my game attack correctly. I'm 10 out of 10. That was an intro and a half. How the hell did you know my dad used to work for IBM?
We have ways, sir. We have ways.
I feel watched. Hi, everyone. Lovely to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh man. And what have you been playing?
What have I been playing? Not much. It's been a bit busy. I got an email. I played Splitgate 2 today. I played the Splitgate 2 alpha. I did a live stream on Xbox Era a few hours back if folks want to watch it and check it out. Once I reconfigured the controls to be like Halo, very enjoyable. Bit floaty, like the guns don't have a lot of impact yet, but there's no vibration on the pad. But then I turned that off anyway, so I don't know. There's something amiss there, but it's early days, so give it a chance. But I enjoyed it, and I got a lovely little email from a tiny little developer who have released or are releasing a game called Unleaving, which is kind of like a hand-drawn Limbo, is the closest I can give it. And they were like, hey, we've seen you love reviewing smaller indie games and you really admire the art, which I do. Please. And I was like, I really don't have time, but I will check it out. So I've been kind of playing that, and I'm going to try and write something before the carnage kicks off next week. So yeah, but not much, honestly. Like that's about it. That's about all I've been playing for like the last 7 days.
All right, awesome. And again, thank you for joining us on this episode. And now,
Pleasure.
Mr. Big Plume, how are you doing, sir? And what have you been playing? And welcome back to XPI, brother. It's been a while.
I'm doing great. I'm excited to kick this show off. Lots of things that we're going to be talking about. Welcome, John. What have I been playing? I've like cycling through 3 games right now. I'm still playing some College Football 25.
Nice.
I've been playing I got a code from Focus Entertainment for the Atlas Fallen Reign of Sand update. So I didn't play that when it originally released, but I've put in like, I don't know, I want to say like 6-7 hours into it so far. It's a pretty fun action game that I didn't play when it launched, and I'm surprised how much I am enjoying it. Really cool mechanics. You kind of just like glide, like skiing across the sand with movement, and there's a lot of strategy in the combat and stuff. And then I've also been playing Doom 1 and 2, the remaster, which is like just so much fun. The remakes or the remixes of the audio is phenomenal. So that's what I've been jumping into.
I got a question though, because I mean, I am a master of Doom, right? I mean, I love Doom since it began. I was a big master in Doom 2. I beat the game in so many different ways. Doesn't it feel like a lot more harder than the original one? Like it feels like a lot more tougher. For me, it does. At least the enemies.
I just think we're old now, Louis. Like,
yeah, it sounds like you just need to get.
I just think we're old.
No, because this is my go-to game. I mean, every time when I'm on the PC, I was like, let me play a little bit. I do a level or 2 on Doom 2 all the time, and for me, this one's like it became a lot more tougher though.
Maybe, I don't know. I'm just playing on like the normal difficulty, and like I'm not great at it, but I don't remember how good I was back when it first came out, or when I did play it back in the day.
All right. And now our captain, Silent Cypher. How are you doing, sir? What have you been playing?
Well, sir, I am doing great. It's been quite a week. Shout out to John. Thank you so much for joining us this week.
My pleasure.
To get to hang out with you. Um, yeah, dude, I'm stoked. It's we finally got some good weather, so it doesn't feel like it's melting outside anymore. I can actually sit here and play some video games and not feel like I'm going to die of heat exhaustion. So we're getting to a good place. Been playing some more Brotato. I got a few more characters unlocked on that this week. And I also jumped into Doom and Doom 2. I did not run into the difficulty gate that you ran into. I think you just got to get good.
Oh, okay. All
Sorry,
right.
I
Okay.
as soon as I hear that remastered music and that like new music synth that they have, as soon as that kicks off, I I just like zone out on everything else, and I'm in Doom. I am the Doom Slayer, and it's been a lot of fun, man. I've missed playing that game. It's been a few years since I played through some of those, and it's a awesome collection. The fact that it's on Game Pass, the fact that it's only $10, man, yeah, that thing's gonna keep me busy for a while. And it sounds like those co-op and multiplayer modes are pretty slick too. So I think we're gonna maybe have to do a community game night for that because that sounds freaking awesome.
Interesting, interesting.
Speaking of Doom, is anyone buying the Doom anthology with the BFG LED gun? Anyone see
Wait,
that?
wait,
I
wait,
didn't
wait,
see
wait, wait,
that.
wait. I didn't see that.
Wait, what?
Wait. Send me that.
Wait,
Send
I
me-
just pre-ordered it today. You didn't see it?
You mother, send it to me. Send it to me. Send it to me. I mean, I'm ordering that thing right away. How much does it cost? How much does it cost?
It's
You didn't drop
80
that link
USD,
in
but
our-
it comes with all the Dooms. Then it comes with like
Yes,
a collectible.
Yes.
God
Yes.
damn.
Oh my
$80 is a
God.
good price for it.
Yes, it is. Yeah, good thing I did not order the Halloween thing. Now I'm ordering that. Sorry, Simon. I'm out for the Halloween
Hey,
thing.
that's on you. I already got the Halloween. one
Oh,
ordered.
go
We're
for it.
good.
No, I'm getting the BFG, man. Heck no. BFG, my own BFG. Oh
I'm
my
surprised
God.
you guys. I can't believe you guys didn't hear about this. All right, I'll send it.
No, send it, please. Send it.
Well, if someone would have dropped that link in our private
I,
chat, we
you know
might
what? I
have known
feel
about it,
like
but
I did. I feel like I gotta look this up.
I don't know. I think we got to look at the receipts because
Yes.
I don't think it's there.
Um, um, Nobody
All
gonna
right,
ask me
Louis.
how I'm doing.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Louis,
Oh
how
my
are
God.
you doing, bud?
Nobody ever asked me.
What have you been playing?
Your chopped
man?
liver, Louis.
I'm telling you, I always get picked on here, man. Oh man, how am I doing? I've been doing great, man. I've been doing great. You know, we have family for a month and a half here. Like this weekend, I cannot wait. We're actually gonna sleep in. We're not going out to the beach. We're not going anywhere. We're just gonna sleep here at home, take care of the house, do a couple things. You know, I'm gonna clean up the frame. You know, because I found out that the frame is kind of dusty. So I said, you know, let me clean the lady's frame. She can look a lot more prettier. But yes, other than that, like I said, I can't wait for the weekend just to rest. I've been super, super duper tired. And what have I been playing? Because I mean, look, I already beat RoboCop. I beat Broforce. I beat Mortal Kombat 1. And what else have I been playing? I don't know. I mean, what have I played these days? No, just I think it was just RoboCop. That's it. I mean, I think I hit credits for RoboCop, and that's about it. And I jumped in, and did a couple more things because it's such a fun game, man. And not only that, I got RoboCop so tough, man. I can just destroy everything. Just happily, I really like that game. It's a really good game. They really did an awesome job portraying RoboCop in that game. Seriously, fantastic. Highly recommended. Highly recommended. I really do. I really do. So, what's up? What you guys say?
Oh no, I was just gonna say, you know what else is highly recommended? Us
What?
hopping onto the security screening.
Yes,
sir,
I am
because
going to that right now.
We do have a newcomer to the show, so we got to ask a
Oh.
few questions of our dear friend John.
So,
John,
yes.
these are made up imaginary questions. So
Okay.
have fun with it. Go wild with it. But so I'm gonna give you a time capsule question. Okay.
Okay.
So, a mysterious group called Constellation has chosen you to pick 3 games that will go into space in a time capsule as a means of introducing other life forms to our planet. What 3 games would you choose and why?
Oh God. Man. So it's different to my favorite games. So, but I'm going to find a way to work some of them in there. First of all, I'd put Inside from Playdead Games in there because the ending. I want to see if they're like, what the fuck are these guys doing? Like that would confuse the hell out of anyone that might find it that isn't human, at least.
Yes.
I mean, it confused humans, so what do I know? Other than that, man, two other games that I would put in a time capsule. I mean, I'm tempted to say because of my love for Halo CE, because it's a bona fide classic, and everyone can appreciate a classic, right?
Absolutely.
And then I think for the last one, let's go with. I'm going to stick in Super Smash Brothers.
That would be good.
Those are my three. That's what I'd stick in a time capsule.
I think that'd scare a lot of people away from coming here too, because some of those maps are an acid trip. It is, yeah, that would be quite an experience for them to jump in that and have like a massive glove chasing them around the map.
Yeah,
for example,
perfect giant
nightmares.
dogs, all sorts of stuff. It's great.
Nightmares. Well, those are awesome choices. I like those ones. I don't think we've had anyone else ever do those ones actually.
Oh, good.
Well, they chose Halo before, but I asked
Halo.
why were yeah, the Halo, yes. I don't know why they keep on choosing Halo. It's gonna scare the alien away because they're gonna see this Master Chief running around, killing aliens. Like, what the heck,
You got it.
I thought they did Halo Infinite, of which
Oh,
I would say if you want to preserve the quality of Halo, you send them CE, one of the best ones.
Oh, okay, that's it. Yeah, you're right.
You just put based on a true story, like hack it into the file, and then the aliens will be like, "Well, shit, we're not going there." They got a Master Chief or something.
That would be bad. All right. Well, great answers. The next question that I do have for you. So this is a professional interview type of thing, right?
Ooh,
so
I'll brace myself.
So you've gotten on a flight and you've decided that you're going to sleep all the way through the trip, right?
Okay.
And when you wake up, your gaming idol is sitting right next to you. You only have 2 to 3 minutes to introduce yourself. Tell us who this person would be and give us your elevator pitch on who you are and where they can find you.
Oh, shit. Well, I have to admit, it's a weird one. I don't have a gaming idol. Like, I have people I admire in the industry, but I don't have anyone that I totally fangirl over. I often find that, like, no offense to anyone that does have a gaming idol, but I find it a bit odd. Like, I was out at Gamescom last year and went to see Alan Wake 2 as a presentation, and there were I won't name them, but there were professional journalists that I know from being in that world, and I see them online. And Sam Lake was there, and they were like, "Sam, oh my god, can I get a selfie?" And it's just like, you're at work, dude. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm being a killjoy, but this is just a dude, and he just makes games. Like, I find that so strange, personally. So I try and meet anyone developer-wise that I ever interact with as just another human being that happens to do cool stuff. But having said that, if I had to pick one, it would probably be Tim Schafer, because I imagine he's a very funny dude. And I'd probably wax lyrical about, like, hey, you were part of my childhood because of Monkey Island. I grew up on the Amiga. That was my entry to gaming. BBC Micro, Amiga. I skipped SNES. I skipped the Mega Drive. It was the Amiga. So it was a bit of an odd entry in, but Tim Schafer and Ron Gilbert's work on Monkey Island and stuff like that, like, was formative for me. I loved point and click adventure games as a kid. So I'd probably maybe fangirl a tiny bit if he was around. Maybe.
So you're a big fan of Full Throttle?
Yeah, Full Throttle was good. Yeah, I loved all of those.
Fandango.
Weirdly, Grim Fandango, Day of the Tentacle. Weirdly,
Sam and Max hit the
my
road.
I didn't have a huge amount of love for Sam and Max. My weird favorite is Simon the Sorcerer. Go figure. It's a bit of a cult one. Not a lot of people played that. But yes.
That's awesome. I think I would probably be right there with you fanboying out on that one, because I spent a lot of time as a kid playing those games. It's definitely got a special place in my heart, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I I think he passed the questions with flying colors, so I think we can proceed on. What do you say?
All right, all right. Let's proceed. And now, real quick, I'm gonna go through the flight itinerary of this episode, which we have one amazing itinerary going on today. Because hey, listen, this is what we're talking about, right? We're gonna talk about the console wars, what the guys from Xbox are working on. We're gonna talk about it. Have a little small interview with them about it. We want to hear everything there is to console wars, and then we have for the climb crazy updates and a couple things in there that I want to pitch in. Stalker 2, a couple things that happened over the week too, and last but not least, game predictions. Those are the things I'm going to talk about on today's flight. So, Captain, are you ready? Take it away, my good sir.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, Louis has turned on that subscribe button. Please stow your food and beverages next to your desk, underneath your seat, or in front of you. Please take your seat and also fasten your seatbelt. Make sure that you've hit that like button as we take off. We gently remind you that smoking and drinking are not prohibited on this flight. However, hiring Crazy Louis for the Australian breakdancing team
Hey,
is strictly prohibited.
hey,
If you have any questions about our flight today, please don't hesitate to ask one of our flight panelists. Thank you.
wait, what? Wait, what? Me and the breakdown. I mean, I can break dance better than whatever happened because I couldn't even see the video. I was even looking for the video to do the breakdance to try it out to see if I can actually do it better.
I
Oh
think you
man,
probably could. Like,
I think
I'd give
yeah.
I'd give you a shot.
I'll give myself a shot. Yeah, I'll do it one day on my morning episodes. Not today because today's won't be the day to do that.
I
I gotta
look forward
watch
to
it.
seeing that day.
You look forward to seeing that day. But real quick, Silent, let's go in and shout out the chat before I give the microphone back to you, sir. So,
Awesome.
yes, let's do this. Oh, man, DJ Dana in the house. What's up, DJ Dana G? How you doing, brother? Sourblow, What's up, Sourblow? It's Timmy. What's up, Timmy? Adidas 20. He says, let's go. E-Ranks, what's up? How you doing, man? How you doing? Oh man, Xbox era in the house. Woohoo! We got Xbox era in the house. Let's go. Roberto Z. How you doing, Roberto Z? And man, Adidas 20 member for 8 months in economy class. Thank you so much, brother, for that. Thank you. That is awesome. Who else is in here? Ray Chi. How you doing, Ray Chi? What's up, brother? Oh man, Captain Edwin. What's up, Captain Edwin? How you doing, brother? Mr. Dueño says, so Forza Horizon 5 is coming to PS5? We don't know. And if we did, we wouldn't tell you. We're going to have to wait and see for that confirmation. So, all right. All right. Let's keep on going. Let Tech 772. What's up, Let Tech? How you doing? Oh, man. Joey, the Phantom Kraken. Hello, brother Joey. And Mr. Joanna Dark, member for 12 months. Thank you for that first class membership. He says, Louis, prisoners don't get how you doing rights. Yes, we do. I mean, especially since you look like Joey from Friends, because I look like Joey from Friends too. I look kind of like Joey. Yes. Hype for that.
What?
Yeah, Joey from
No.
Friends. I don't look like Joey from Friends. I do that. How you doing? Perfectly fine though. You know? No, not really. Okay. Hype for that Halloween Evil Dead games. Yes, I am hyped for that too. But man, I'm more hyped for that BFG gun. I'm gonna order that sucker right away. Hype for Black Myth Wukong. Switch 2 is the best. We have not seen Switch 2. How can it be the best? Come on, dude. Wait for it to be released. Oh Lord. Oh man, Letech is asking RoboCop better than Terminator Survivors. Terminator Survivors has not been released, but I know there's Resistance. You got to play Resistance. I recommend Resistance too. So go ahead and try it out. Sadness, what's up, Sadness? How you doing, brother? Let's keep on going. This awesome list. A lot of people in here. Tron TJ with the beautiful and an awesome $5 super chat. He says, "Hi everyone. Please hit the like button. The rest, the what? The rest drive. What's the rest drive? Huh? The rest drive? I think you meant test drive, but okay. The rest drive beta
Yeah, okay.
is great, but it crashes. Oh no, they gotta fix that sucker. Oh no. But yes, Silent, I think that's everyone in the chat. I'm gonna pitch the mic to you, brother. Go for your awesome interview.
Louis, real quick,
Yes, sir.
before you get out of here, because I want to refute the story that you just gave us. You look more like John Lovitz.
Oh man.
then you look like Joey. I'm just
But-
saying.
okay,
I'm just saying, man.
why
Just saying.
y'all gotta compare me to John Lovitz all the time, man?
Well, if the shoe fits.
John
Um,
John
all right.
Lovitz has all the weird things. He gets humped by an angry bird and little Nicky and
Don't
And
you?
on that note, all right. So, John, so we do want to jump into some more questions for you because, of course, the ones that we gave you already are definitely not the last ones you'll be getting today.
Fair.
So we want to dive into some stuff. Just to get to know you a little bit first, though, for anyone here that isn't as familiar with you, can you tell us about your role as the co-founder and editor-in-chief at Xbox Era?
Yeah. Where to begin? 5 and a bit years ago now, I wanted to do a podcast, and I was cruising around in the then Xbox community thread on Recessera, and someone pointed me in Nick's direction because Nick wanted to do a podcast, and he had the unofficial Xbox Era Discord. That is not the now public Xbox Era Discord. This is like his own little thing that he barely manages himself anymore. Um, and we DM'd each other. We had a conversation, and God, don't go back and look at those early episodes. All right, we had to find our way, but we started. And I am always a believer in go big or go home. So I insisted, well, we've got to have a presence on the internet in some form as a website. We can't just be a podcast on YouTube. So I built a website, and then things just grew from there. I was like, oh, we could do reviews and stuff like that, and it's exploded. And here we are 5 years later, and I took the decision, or I was able to take the decision because of the support we have from our community and from our Patreon supporters, particularly, to be able to quit the real job I had and do this full time, which is, it was a scary thing to just go and do because it's entirely reliant on lots of other people being generous. But the site has grown to such an extent that the tipping point came where I was really struggling as a single dad with 2 kids to do my mainline account management job for a big Florida software company and do Xbox Era. That's tough, because Xbox Era had grown so much. The amount of reviews we do, the previews, getting invited out now to go and cover stuff with accommodations and flights and stuff. It got crazy, and here we are. And I love it. I love that we are as big as we are. I never thought they would come to this. You start with these aspirations, and it just grew and grew and grew. But I'm very lucky to have an amazing team of volunteers and people that really, really put effort in where it counts. And we've got a fantastic community to boot. Like, if you're not a member of the Xbox Era Discord, I would just encourage you to be one, because we're constantly giving away games there. Why not? That's one reason in and of itself. But it's just it's humbling, I think, is the best word I can put for it. It feels extremely gratifying to be able to do this day in, day out, and I absolutely adore it. I hope that was a good answer.
That was a great answer. You brought us from the start of this as it just being an idea all the way to where it is now, which congrats for you guys on the huge success that you've had. It's awesome to see podcasts actually take off because it doesn't always happen. And so it's great to see you guys out there. It's great to see you guys getting that recognition and now getting invited into some of those bigger events and stuff. Like that's what we all hope and aspire for, I think, generally. So it's always great to see someone in the community do something like that.
Yeah, it's not easy, right? And I would say, I love coming on other shows because, one, it's much easier because I'm not hosting. Like you're in the host chair, so you have to control me. Good luck. But it's also really cool. Like, I have to give a shout out one person in particular, Jeff Grubb. Like, we were tiny. We were nothing. We were a dot or full stop on Wikipedia somewhere. And Jeff Grubb saw the passion, and he kept coming on and hanging out with us and chatting and giving us advice and suggestions on what to do and how to handle things. And it was the bigger fish giving us little fish a chance that helped us become a bigger fish. And I always like to, and the whole team does, and Nick does, Jesse as well, like to do the same, where we can. But it's not always easy. And I think the communities that are around Xbox are some of the best. As much as lots of fanboys out there, I don't think there's too many on the Xbox side that are completely lost. There are some, but seeing those communities stick together and help each other and communicate and support and proliferate the message gives an overwhelming sense of community, and I think that is really, really successful. So, yeah, it's good to do this kind of stuff, man. I love coming on other people's shows. It's so much fun. Even if it's midnight.
Right. Yeah. So to everyone in the chat, this man is sacrificing sleep to hang out with us. So
it's good.
Props to him for that. We appreciate it, especially since he's going to be housing some chaos monsters here in just like 7 or 8 months.
Special Nick is on the way. He called me. He tried to call me. I told him I was in the bath. He tried to video call me. I'll leave that there.
Nice.
Right? That's he's an intimate guy, right? And he was just leaving Doha, which I think is in Saudi Arabia. I want to say somewhere around there. I might be wrong.
Dang.
And he'll be here in 5.5 hours. He lands, something like that. And then he'll be winging his way here. So it's the first time I've met Nick in 5.5 years of working together, like in real life, which is insane to me. But we've got Jesse flying in tomorrow evening. He lands on Friday. We've got Ursel from Canada coming in as well from the team. And then we're meeting our art and design director, Predrag, out in Germany during the week for Gamescom. So it's going to be a really fun time. And we are covering so much. Our calendars are bursting at the seams with cool stuff that we get to talk about for Xbox fans. So very excited.
Gamescom. I was going to go to Gamescom this year, but I got pulled down from the flight from my wife because she's going to Italy for a wedding in September. She said, nope, you're not going to Gamescom.
Yeah,
well, you're alive.
Boss put him in place.
Yeah, you got to listen. You got to listen when the boss says no. Pay attention. You know how it is.
I know.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely awesome that you guys get together and actually like do this event together. Predrag ended up doing a bunch of your artwork for the Kickstarter, correct?
Yeah, like if there's a lot of people that make Xbox Era great. Jesse is one who he just does an astounding amount of work. The man is a machine. I saw a tweet earlier from someone else in the industry going, "Oh, this company expecting 3 reviews a week." I'm like, I think Nick actually tweeted it. He was like, "Let me introduce you to someone," because Jesse is just a machine, man. Like
he is everywhere. Yeah,
it is. Like, I am very particular in the games that I play, so I'm very choosy on what I play. I know what I like, what I don't like, right? I'm a bit of a fast pot, but I like generally a lot of the arty-farty smaller stuff. Jesse is like a man that can play multiple things all at different times. But the reason Xbox Era looks half as good as it does is because of Predrag. And Predrag's only on the team because he did this really funny image of meteors hitting the ground, and they all had Game Pass written on them. And all the dinosaurs were looking up, going, "Oh, no." And it was a joke image, right? But I was like, this is really funny. Do you mind if we borrow this? And we ended up having a DM, and before I knew it, he took over the whole art direction of what the site looks like and all of the logos and the animations. And he's got 20 years experience in digital editing and image creation and art and design. It makes us look like we're this super big company, and we are not. We have no money. And I think that's half the time how we get away and get so many like coverage opportunities is because people think that we're some massive outlet. We are not. We are very small. So yeah, Predrag is amazing.
Well, they always say that first impressions are everything, right? So he's doing a great job for you guys so far, from what I can see. So yes, definitely keep him around. Make sure that you buy him an extra beer or two while you guys are out traveling, right? So we'll get into a little bit more going towards your Kickstarter that you've launched.
Yeah, of course.
So obviously this is not your first Kickstarter. You also did the celebrating 20 years of Xbox book,
Yep.
which was a major undertaking for you guys as it was. I understand it was kind of a tumultuous experience launching that thing.
Yeah,
An
it
amazing
was.
product, but definitely one of those things that, like, I'm sure you've learned a lot from that first experience to go into this new project, right?
Yeah, like Kickstarters are interesting beasts, like because you never quite know. Like, I've had an idea. Does this resonate with people? Are people going to like it? The Xbox book was an idea from multiple sources within the team. Big shout out to One Bad Mother, who he's not really part of Xbox here anyway. I mean, he is in my heart because I love the
Yeah,
guy,
he's
but
great.
he's
Yeah.
he got busy with life, so he kind of took a step back. But he was integral in pulling that off. But yeah, like we announced it, and then unfortunately, I ended up going through a divorce
Mm.
and all of that jazz, and then we had a pandemic and a little couple of wars break out. And 2 years before I knew it had gone by before we could even get this thing produced. They're all ships now and they're all out. I have copies left, which I don't know if the camera can make them out behind me, but there's a few left. They're available on the Xbox Era shop on our site. If people still want one, you can get one, but there's never going to be any more ever made, so they're quite rare. Um, but that experience and that 2 year gap led to 15 grand's worth of debt that I had to personally cover. Um,
Ouch.
because as a Kickstarter, you have a duty and an obligation to fulfill what you've promised to your backers. Um, so I had to pull some strings to cover that. It was not fun. So we've been very careful with how we've done this Kickstarter in that everything is accounted for. Every possible slip up, every possible delay, every spare delivery charge, every extra cost, the production costs for everything are down to the letter. So we've been very thorough on this occasion with our timelines and everything. And thankfully, it's not as complicated to write a book as it is to. It's not as complicated to write a card game as it is to write a book, I should say. So the design and stuff is already done. We're hoping we can get it to be big enough to do some translations, but the big legwork is finished. You know, it's playable, it's ready, and we'll be heading out to Gamescom to demo it to the world next week, which is tremendously exciting.
That is awesome. Yeah, I've been seeing your guys' posts about your displays and your standees for the actual show. It looks like you're ramping up to have a pretty awesome uh, booth, so that way people can come check it out. Um, in regards to that, and going back to kind of just like the core, like the beginning of this game for you, like what inspired you to create this game? Like what was it? I mean, obviously we know console wars, that it's in the name to an extent, but was there
Yeah.
more besides that?
I play a lot of card games with friends. So I'm lucky in that my friendship group. I met a lot of these guys back in 2004, 2005, playing Halo 2 on Xbox Live, and we formed little groups within Bungie.net because playing. No offense to America, but playing on an American connection back in those days was
Was
a lesson in
garbage.
frustration. So we had this little forum group called the Wall Walkers, you know, which was just riffing off of people just walking into walls because the connection was bad. And we used to organize custom games, and it was a couple of years of that. And then we started doing LAN parties and stuff like that. And here we are, 20 years later. There's marriages, births, deaths, divorces, more marriages. It's been a ride, but that core group is still around to this day, and that's what I love about gaming. Is that they're from all different walks of life, from up and down the country, and yet we all have that one common bond of a love of video games that brings us together and makes for really great weekends. But as we've gotten older and more curmudgeonly and more busy, those events have turned into smaller, more intimate affairs where there's not so much of a fuss worrying about video games as there is about just sitting around playing cards and board games and drinking and eating good food and all of that jazz. You know, we have bruschetta now, all right? The days of takeaway pizza are over. We're making fresh bruschetta and like steak on the barbecue and all sorts of stuff like that. You know, we're not living like students anymore. But
Sure.
we were playing various card games, and I started joking about I'd love to make my own. And they were like, "What would it be about?" And I was just like, "Oh, I'd probably do something like a satirical take on the gaming industry, because I see all this stuff day in day out as the owner of Xbox era, right?
Right.
Yes,
Right.
we exist to cover that platform from the perspective of people that actually play on that platform, like, because the rest of the industry does not. And I think Xbox fans deserve something a little bit more direct and for them, right? That's why we exist. And yeah, it kind of just all fell into place. It riffs off of all sorts of different card games. It's got bits of Monopoly Deal in there. It's got bits of Exploding Kittens. It's got bits of Gin Rummy. It's got bits of um, uh, Unstable Unicorns. It's got the humor of Cards Against Humanity to a degree. So it all adds up to make a really fun, silly riff. And that the work on that started in earnest probably October last year, something like that. And it started with a bunch of different decks, but it turned into, I've got a couple of the cards here from my hand drawn alpha
Nice.
deck. This is all Sharpie work.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That's
That's
awesome.
cool.
But yeah, I ended up taking this to LA when I went to Summer Games Fest and played with a bunch of people in hotel lobbies there, and ended up showing a lot of Xbox execs some of the artwork that you've now seen for the game, and just to test if any of them were like, "You can't do that," or "We're going to sue you," and they didn't. They all had a good chuckle at some of the jokes, so I think we're okay. We're waiting to hear from Nintendo and Sony, but I think we're going to be okay. But yeah, that's how it came about. It was just let's take something that we are often the subject of, right? Oh, your Xbox era. Of course, you gave that game a 10. Ugh. Like we really don't often do that. Like it's not a case of every Xbox game gets a 10. Like it just doesn't happen.
Right.
But to take that toxicity and that silliness, because we all know it's silly, right? The people that pretend that they are deeply entrenched in this shit, they're making it up. It's all a grift. It's all a persona. It's all a wind up. It's not real. So let's turn that toxicity around, because I think it's got worse over the last 3 or 4 years. And let's turn it back into something we all know we can point and laugh at. And that was the general premise of why it exists.
I think that's a great premise for it. And as a parent who has a couple kids that, my son enjoys playing video games, my daughter gets into it here and there, and my wife barely even touches games unless we force her to, right? Like to play Mario Party or something like that. So this is a great opportunity for me to get her involved in this side of the business, and have it as something that's just kind of a fun thing to throw out there. And like, she's not going to get all the references. I understand that. But based on everything that I've seen, the references that you guys have floated out there, like I sent it to a couple of my other dev friends, and they're like, "Those are great. I love the references and stuff." And I think it's got a lot of charisma, like a lot of personality to it.
Yeah.
And it is very much akin to kind of the other games that you mentioned, your Cards Against Humanity, your Unstable Unicorns. It's got a lot of that personality to it, which I really appreciate, because I feel like if a game is too dry, I lose my kids' attention very fast when we're playing card games, and this looks like it's going to definitely keep them occupied. So I'm pretty stoked about that.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to have a beta deck, I've got some beta decks. Just ping me your address. I can send you one if you want to test it and like see how you feel about it. It'll come in a shape, a makeshift box. It won't be the fancy products you've seen on the videos and stuff, but the cards will be real. So if you want one, I can ship one to you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I would,
We'll sort it out
love the
after the show.
opportunity. Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate the opportunity. So you mentioned, obviously, like, you guys just started this. You said October, November timeframe last year was kind of when you really got into it full earnest.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, what's the development process been like for you guys? Because obviously it's been a short time frame for you guys to kind of put this together.
Yeah. It's definitely it's been the shortest for pre-drag, because the important thing to get right was how the game played. And there were a number of very long playtest sessions over many months between me and a core group of friends. Just a shout out to Bart and Foxy in particular, and Iron Man, who gave out a lot of their time at the weekends to kind of like help spitball and make sure that this was working and that there wasn't anything absurd. And I think I finished and I was like, this is good. Like, and that's when I drew up my final alpha or beta deck, like hand drawn. That's the one I took to LA. I was like, I am really happy with this. I have my rules written out. I understand every effect and every action. And the important thing with this is I wanted to keep it snappy and fun. So there are no long drawn out pieces. There's no extra bits that you have to worry about. You don't have to juggle a million things. It is as simple as you play three cards, up to 3 cards in your turn. You can do different things, right? But there's only like 3 different things you can do. And you read the card and you do what the card says. And it's that simple. They all have a joke on. It's all PG-13. There's no swearing or anything like that. But they all have these subtle references to different games, different moments in gaming history, and all sorts of stuff like that. And we handed off to Predrag to start doing the art. I want to say April-ish time is when he really started working on it, like finalizing April, May. And he started putting bits together, and it just got faster and faster and faster. And there's a web application we use called Miro, which allowed he and I to collaborate because he's in a different time zone to me. He's based out in Kuwait, I think, most of the time. Wow. So there's a few hours between us, but it was wonderful working with him because he got the vibe that I wanted to go for, very clean art style. I didn't want to go all fantasy and, like painterly. I wanted it to keep it really fresh and vibrant. And the branding that he came up with for the game is just chef's kiss. And the premise behind the whole hot pink and the cyan blue is that it doesn't mimic any existing brand or platform holders' consoles, past or present. And that was important. Like some friends said, oh, you should make it look like a SNES, or you should make it look like this console. And it's like,
it's dangerous.
No, it's got to stand on its own because everything we're doing is a parody. And you have to be very careful in how you parody. And I think a lot of people have commented on the Doom parody, which is Mood, right? Like, oh, that's just Doom reversed. It's not. If you actually compare the logos, like Predrag has hand-drawn every single thing from scratch. So it's just an impeccable undertaking, and he turned it around so quick, and he listened to me going, oh no, it has to be this way, and he would just bounce that feedback straight into it, and it's been a ride. But once we got the playtesting down, once we got the art down, actually seeing it come to life and be produced and picking up the real thing and holding the real cards for the first time, I was just like, oh my God, it's a real game. It totally freaks me out. It's so cool. It's so cool to see it happen in real time. It's so brilliant.
Definitely like a proud parent moment, right?
Yeah,
like you got to literally see this thing that you've put blood, sweat, and tears into for a long time, a lot of thought into it, finally come to fruition. That's an exciting moment for anyone putting something like that out there, right? And it's scary, but it seems like from what you've said so far and from what I've heard, from even just the community backing the program or the project so far, people are very positive about it, very excited about it. So that's a good place to be.
Yeah, I'm delighted.
Speaking of the feedback and stuff, obviously you mentioned the fact that you brought this with you to LA when you were out there a couple months ago. Sounds like the feedback was pretty cool in general, pretty good. Did you get any key items that you kind of brought back to the table and kind of reworked or adjusted a little bit from feedback? And so you said obviously that like some of the folks from Microsoft and other companies, like they were cool with it and stuff.
I don't want to say they were cool. I don't want to put words in their mouth. I won't mention names, but I got some wholesome chuckles at some of the parody names.
That's fair.
Which is nice. But yeah, I certainly didn't get any objections. I'll put it that way.
Sure. That's of which you mentioned the Mood shirt or the Mood logo, of which I would want to highlight and just mention to anyone. So once we're done with this show, I'll throw in links into the description so you can check it out. By all means, make sure that you check and follow him on Twitter as well. But he has a really great batch of shirts for the logos as well that are in the game.
Yeah, they are super
I,
nerdy.
yeah, and it's in a great way too. Like, not everyone's going to get it, but it's something you can wear out in public, not offend anyone, and it looks great. The colors are vibrant, so I love that personally myself.
Yeah.
So with the community involvement and stuff, going back to that, right? The feedback that you got when you were doing this, so seems like in general very positive from your experience when you brought that out there to LA.
Yeah, I would say so. Like, the thing is, not everyone plays card games, and I fully recognize that. But the general idea behind it is card and board games are super popular anyway. And I thought by crossing the two niches of gaming and card games, you'd end up with. I would wager that everyone that plays card and board games probably plays video games. That's what I would say, and I would say that people that play video games probably wouldn't mind every now and then playing a card game. And I'd love to see a digital version of this, like at some point in the future. Like, you imagine crossplay on mobile and on PlayStation, on Xbox, on Switch,
Would be awesome. Yeah,
with stats and everything else. Because I think a lot of problem with card games on console, like especially multiplayer ones, is there's just the game. There's nothing to track or earn or reward yourself, or how many times have I won? How many times did I win with this card or that card, or how many fans did I earn? Like, I can think of all of these stats from a digital version point of view. But some of the feedback we had from players beyond my friendship group and people out in LA allowed us to really streamline the rules. Like, I hate playing card games where it's like, well, that's ambiguous. Can I do this? There's no answer. So you have to go and look online. So we've been really, really careful to make sure that every card is very specific in terms of what it can and cannot do, to a point of being a bit anal about it. But I've also heard feedback from professional card designers over on Board Game Geek and on Reddit and stuff like that say, one guy said, I think you should swap out the words of the instructions and have icons. And I was like, I understand why you might think that as a big board game player that loves to make it complex, but there's 19 different unique things you can do, just as an example, with action cards alone. So what, you want 19 different icons that mean 19 different things, and then someone has to go find a reference guide and look at the icon? Nah.
No one has time for that.
So you have to take, like, I always try and ignore the positive feedback and really listen to the negative, because somewhere in there's probably a nugget of something I can do, and then sometimes there's like, no, that's just a design decision and you've just got to roll with it. But it was weird. I was on KICKSTARTER's show last week and he called me a game designer. I'm like, am I? Oh, okay, maybe, kind of.
Yeah,
feels weird, man. I don't like it.
Sure, but I mean, you're releasing a product out there that is very much a game, right? So you're in those ranks. Embrace it.
Yeah, I suppose so. But we've really tried to have fun with what the industry, and this is very much a fuck your friends over game. Right, I want to make that clear. This is a be mean and be kind of toxic with it, and it's all about that banter that you'd have in among friendships, especially like personally for me, between really close friends, where you can give them a good ribbing. And like, there's one card that we're doing with the Kickstarter that is exclusive to the Kickstarter, and to give you a context of how it works. Throughout the game, you're trying to collect famous video game IPs to win, right? But in order to protect them, you need to also build up a fan base. And the more fans you have, the more protected your IPs are, right? And there's a card called Kickstarted, and you basically, at any point, if you've got that card and you play it, you can steal and swap your fan base. And you might have like 10 million fans, and the other player might have like 300 million fans, and you can just swap it. And it is absolutely brutal to do, and it makes people go, oh no. But of course, there are other cards in there where you can cancel that action, and kind of like, and then you get that kind of like, no, you can't do that. And then they might nope your nope, and there's all that kind of exploding kitten style interaction that can occur. It's very, very entertaining, and lots of laughter when those kind of moments pop off. And that's what we were aiming for. So yeah, pleased with it.
That's awesome. Yeah, you definitely, you had me at the fuck your friends over side of things, because I think about like when I play even something like Monopoly Go with my family. And I love just being the most vile human being when I play that game.
Like the property mechanic in Console Wars is very
Mhm.
similar to the property mechanic used in Monopoly Deal. So if you're very
Gotcha.
familiar with Monopoly Deal, you will find this like you'll take to it like a duck to water. Like it
Yeah,
is.
you mentioned three. You mentioned 3 moves per turn, like 3 options you can
Yeah,
do,
you pick up
and that
5,
brought me
you
right
play
to it.
3, you can hold 7.
That's awesome.
The big twist is we have this system called next gen upgrades. So players can have passive perks and buffs, and there are things like I can hold 8 cards instead of 7, or if I discard all my cards, I pick up 7 instead of 5. And there are all these little tweaks that can change it. And if I have fighting games in my portfolio and I have the fighting game next gen upgrade, I can charge more fans per release of a new game than I would normally. So there's all sorts of little bits and pieces like that. So yeah, I would say anyone that is familiar with games like Monopoly Deal or Exploding Kittens and stuff like that would find this very, very easy to kind of just understand straight away and start playing. So you should be good.
It's got a. Are you familiar with Burger Battle by chance?
I haven't heard of Burger Battle.
So that one's one that I'd recommend for you actually. It's got kind of a similar structure to it also, right? Where like you're building, the goal is to build the perfect burger, and you are basically given a random burger by picking at the beginning, and then you have to try and find those items as you go.
I,
And kind of like what you're saying, right? Like you're building as you go. You're trying to build this completed thing, and people can be the worst people to
I
you
love it.
in the process. They can steal your burger, they can make you add extra pickles, like all sorts of stuff. So that's a fun one I'd recommend to
I
check
will
out
check
as
it
well.
out. I appreciate it. I love
um
a good board game. So
oh,
all
for
for
sure.
it.
So in regards to future plans, so obviously you opened up a pretty robust detail on what your plan is for backers and percentage complete and all that stuff on the Kickstarter. Um, are there any plans? So we know obviously you have like future expansions and stuff. Uh, I think you're going to get quite a ways into your percentage goal, but if you don't manage to get to some of those specific items, are you still hoping to maybe do those in the future, just down the road?
Yeah, like there's already been conversations with publishers. Retailers have expressed an interest in ordering batches of them. Um, the question is, do we do that within Kickstarter? Yeah, okay, it might make our percentage look great, but we'd have to give Kickstarter a cut, and like, who wants to do that? If we can avoid it. So there's all sorts of things to think about. Like I really want to reach the level where we get the cool playmat that goes in the middle of the table, but that's like
Yeah.
400% backed. Um, so we'll see. Like we've got 21 days, 20 days, something like that to go.
Mhm.
And I think our campaign's unique in that a lot of Kickstarters, they're very front loaded, and then there's a big rush at the end. And indeed, to anybody in the chat that's like hearing us talk about this game and is vaguely interested, um, Kickstarter don't charge you till the end. So if you sit
Right.
there thinking, "Oh, I have to wait
Yep.
till payday or something like that," what's weird about this is we designed it where we were like, "Okay, how much do we want this to be?" It's a card game. It's a box of cards, $20, $25 max. So that's where we went for. Price of takeaway pizza is kind of the mindset.
Sure.
And we built that, and then we were like, okay, it's a Kickstarter, so we've got to build a fancier version, and then a super duper fancy version that if people really want to go all out, they can. Over 80% of our backers have picked the ridiculously fancy version, and we're like, this
Yep.
isn't how it was meant to go. We were trying to make this cheap for you. Like, we're not complaining, but like we were thinking, maybe we'll be lucky and we'll have like 500 people back the cheap version and a few will back the expensive version, and it just didn't work out that way. So we did have to rethink our stretch goals a little bit. I'd love to see a digital version. That's the crazy, crazy stretch goal at the end. But I'm at Gamescom, so maybe I'll meet a lovely publisher out there that thinks that this could do something good. I've had the reaction from people within the games industry has been phenomenal. That I've spoken to game designers and people that work at Ubisoft and EA and other publishers. They've been like, this is great. Like, this is going to get played in the office all the time, because they see the console war stuff, and guess what? All of them think it's stupid. So they love the fact that this is just taking the piss out of this whole idea. And I have big hopes for it. Whether we'll get to retail, whether we'll get to do all those things, that's a conversation for the future. Right now, the focus is on let's complete the campaign. We've got Gamescom. We get to play it with gamers at the show. We have our own booth. People can walk up and play it. There's t-shirts to give away. We've got these really cool business cards that look like the playing cards, and they've got the QR code on it.
Nice.
We've got the giant life-size card, so we can take a picture, and that's got the QR code on it. So we're basically just trying to get people to think, yeah, hey, why not give this a punt? And at the same time, they're supporting an independent game website, right? You've seen, and this is a big point. I think is important to bear in mind. You've seen the closures of Game Informer. You've seen the consolidation of the industry under Ziff Davis. IGN own pretty much everything massive now.
Yeah.
Right? There are very few independently owned gaming websites left, right? And it's hard out there. I'm not going to lie. It is hard to make the month-to-month meet and be able to pay people, and we still can't pay everyone. So we're still growing, but there's a ceiling. So I'm always thinking of, and I'm lucky that we have a team that's so creative. Well, how else can we survive in this industry? And what better way than by making games? That was the other idea behind it. It was like, if we're going to need to survive, and make it that this is a tangible, verifiable life source to be able to work and live, how can we do that? And making games felt like a really cool way of doing it without selling out to some giant corporation.
I think it's a really smart pivot that a lot of people don't usually consider, shifting some of that focus and kind of diversifying the portfolio, as it were. Get yourself out there to more eyes, obviously, right? Like, we look at something like Xbox, right, where everyone's always panicking about the consoles not selling anymore, the consoles going away. But Microsoft's diversifying the portfolio. They're broadening their reach by opening those different avenues moving forward. And I think that's what's really smart about your decision with that, right? Is like, in a situation where things are very hard, as you mentioned, this makes a lot of sense, and it still allows you to do something that's a passion project, allows you to still stay true to what your guys' stance is, and progress and succeed moving forward, which I think is great. A lot of people don't have it in them to try and change up the formula, and I think that's really smart. You mentioned Gamescom, and obviously you mentioned that you've got the presence there. You're going to be showing off a lot of stuff there, having some competitions or like some games and stuff there. Is there any? Do you have any plans long term, or I guess in the near future, for doing maybe some more in person, or even like an online via Twitch or something type of approach with the game?
There's been people saying we should put it on tabletop gaming, where you can create a digital version and input all the rules and stuff like that. It's not high up on the list, because if I'm gonna make a digital version, selfishly, I want it to be exactly how I want it to be. I know that sounds really stupid, but I don't want to half-ass this.
I get that. Yeah.
But I think on Saturday, when we do the live show, the Xbox Era podcast with all the crew, we're definitely going to do a live stream either on the Saturday or on the Sunday, something like that, with all of us sitting around a table, and we'll just set the camera up and play, so people can get an idea and a feel for how it actually plays. I mean, there's a how to play video, but often it's easier to just watch someone play. And we are, as much as I'd love to do other shows and, maybe board game specific shows and go to different conventions, we were so lucky to be able to do Gamescom. Like, we wanted to go. We asked our community, should we go? And they were like, yeah, let's crowdfund it. So we did. We crowdfunded via our community, help us get to Gamescom. We did subathons and other sorts of things. And they raised almost £8,000, which was our target. And that is just the cost. That is just the cost of flights for Nick from Australia. Although Nick got him a flight from Australia, he picked a different one with a longer layover, with an upgraded airline, and upgraded it all himself. And then he messages me tonight. He said, I've upgraded to business class because I couldn't help myself. He spent that money himself. That's on him. Like, I was like, this is the budget for your flight. And he pretty much spent like 4 times that. So there's that. And the fact that all of this came about, like, we weren't planning to do a booth at Gamescom, but we had the card game coming. We were going to launch a Kickstarter, and I get this email from Gamescom saying, hey, just a heads up, we now have this year the cards and booth hall. And I'm like, what? And then I looked into it, and I looked at the cost, and I spoke to the sales team at Gamescom, and they were like, yeah, we've got one booth left. And it just felt like, well, in for a penny, in for a pound. And that's the only reason we're able to do it is because of our community. So, like, hats off to the Patreon guys, because they made this happen, and it would not be happening if it wasn't for them at all. We would just be launching a Kickstarter, and that would be it. But now we actually get to make a big song and dance about it, and I'm hopeful that we're going to get lots of people coming in and trying it and playing it and having a laugh. So we'll see. It's going to be a long week, especially with Nick there, who hated the idea that he'd have to do any work whatsoever. He's like, "What? I thought we were just going to have fun." So now we've got to cover video games, dude.
Put him to work. Put him to work.
Yeah, damn straight. Put him to work.
That's it sounds like you're definitely right place, right time for this. It feels like everything landed perfectly for you guys in regards to the timing. The Kickstarter having Gamescom land right when it, it does, matching up with all that. It's kind of like the perfect storm for you guys. So
Yeah,
that's
for
awesome.
sure. And really cool, like kind of funny, which is, the biggest Patreon supported podcast site out there, right?
It's huge.
They mentioned it on their show. They read our press release out loud, which was like, they didn't have to do that, but they did. And I pinged Tim Geddes, and I've sent them a copy. And I literally just got a DM from him. They're going to be doing a stream of Console Wars live on Kind of Funny next week. I can't wait to watch this. It's terrifying. What if they think it sucks? I have no idea how this is going to go, but they've got the card game, they've got the manual. Fingers crossed I've done my job right.
It's one of those things, right? Like the car's in motion. All you can do is just kind of put your hands up and just be like, all right, it is what it is, right?
But man, I can't wait to watch that. That's going to be a laugh.
That'll be a fun one. Yeah, I'll have to make sure that I tune in on that too, because I'd like to see that as well. So obviously I've thrown a lot at you so far. We've got just a couple questions real quick before we wrap up this part.
Of course.
So in closing, what advice would you give to an aspiring game developer or developers, content creators or whatever that would love to do something as sick as a card game called Console Wars?
It's a weird one. I was very lucky that I got to go work on Halo Infinite, right? I think you mentioned that in my intro, the wonderful intro from Louis. And I got a lot of behind-the-scenes looks at games in development. Not everyone has that. So when I see people armchair developing and going, oh, why don't they just do this? It's oftentimes this stuff isn't as simple as it sounds or looks or feels.
Right.
But as much as I love level design and I love creating things in Forge, it also told me very quickly about what I wanted to do and what I didn't want to do. And what I realized was I love making stuff, but I don't want to see how the sausage is made. Because playing games in an alpha state, when they crash every 5 minutes, when everything is placeholder and like textures are unfinished and everything's buggy and horrible and broken, it's not fun. I hated it. I hated reporting on the bugs. I hated talking about them. I hated the meetings. It sucks. So I kind of was like, okay, well, Forge is a hobby and it will remain that. And I love it. It's an addiction. So I guess it really is leaning into where your passions are. And I think that's what I kind of discovered as I was going through this. Like, even when it comes to running Xbox Era, I'm not a businessman. I'm an idea man, and I love coming up with crazy stuff like this. And this is where I shine. This is where you'll see me get hyper-focused and just work on it until it's done. But when it comes to like doing the accounts or writing up SEO drivel to earn some money, that's not where I thrive.
It's not the sexy stuff.
It's not even that it's not sexy. It's just it doesn't inspire me.
Sure.
But seeing a community rally round, seeing people express gratitude for having a place to congregate, seeing laughs on people's faces when they see something cool that we've made for the first time, or being grateful that it exists, all of that stuff is the stuff that keeps me like fired up day to day, week long, month long, year long. So my advice to anyone that is to just follow that passion. I never thought, if you'd have asked me 5 years ago, that we would be as big as we are now. I can't wait to see how big we are in 5 years' time. who knows? Like, who knows where it's going to take you? You never know. So that would be my biggest piece of advice I could give: is recognize where your passions are and try and push for something that indulges in those. Because what's the famous phrase? If you do something you love, you'll never work a day in your life.
Right.
Like
Yep.
the last 6 months, 8 months of doing Xbox Era full time has been a dream come true. Like I've woken up with passion and joy and happiness to do the job. I haven't felt that in 30 years, and I'm old. So yeah, that's the best advice I can give.
All right.
Well, yeah, I was actually going to follow it up with any final thoughts or messages to the listeners, but I think you nailed it dead on, right? Like, follow your dreams, make sure that you're in it for the right reason. If you have that passion project, it's going to take you far. It's definitely going to make the time melt away.
Yeah.
I think you said that very well with that. So yeah, thank you so much for giving some more detail on this project, obviously about yourself and of Xbox Era. It's great to see a look behind the curtain and get some more details on this stuff. It's been awesome to talk about this.
I appreciate it, like and kudos to Plume and Louis kind of sitting there stroking their beards intently, listening to us prattle
Yeah,
on. They're
that's
like,
good.
when
It was
can we
good
talk
to.
about the video game rumors and the dramas? Because there's plenty out there.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
It's coming. It's
Oh,
coming.
it's coming, right? It's coming. Of course, of course. And real quick, hey man, great interview. I mean, we were quiet right here, just listening to everything you had to say. And man, now oh, I want to try this card game. I want to get the wife into gaming too. I want to get her to play the card game with me and get a bunch of friends to play in there and talk console wars. Why the heck not?
It's honestly, anyone can play it, and I love it. Like, it has replaced. It's my favorite card game to play, and I obviously I'm biased, but I genuinely enjoy playing it every time I play it, and I've played it a lot. So ask me that question at the end of the week after I played 4 solid days of 8-hour days of nothing but this game, and maybe I'll have a different opinion, but we'll see. But if folks are interested, I think I stuck the link in the chat.
Oh, perfect.
It would be super cool to see some more folks back it. The more folks that back it, the more cool stuff gets unlocked for everybody, right? So it's not like only you get the cool thing, person that paid this much. Every single person gets the extras as soon as we hit the tiers. So that's the plan. We've got 21 days to try and get it as high as we can, and fingers crossed we do. But either way, it's funded. So even if we
Right.
don't, it's getting made.
It's still going.
It will ship Q1 next year.
Awesome.
And just to touch on that real quick, just to add more detail, right? So as I mentioned earlier, but just to remind people, if there's anyone who jumped in afterwards, we will have all of John's links, as well as the Xbox Era links and stuff in the description for the show when we're done. So feel free to jump in there, and we'll be obviously posting stuff on Twitter as well, so we can relay those details.
All right. Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. So real quick, before we continue, I got a shot. I got to, shout out to the 83, 84 people watching the show, right? Around Twitch, around Twitter. They're out there watching. And shout out to the 22 people here on the chat. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and also hit that bell. And not only that, please share this out and also chat. If you would like to join our Discord, please do, because Sourblow told me if nobody joins our Discord, it's going to cut off my toes. So, yes, I want to keep my 10 toes. So, please join our Discord. I'll drop the link right here below pretty soon. As soon as, I cover up pretty much what we're jumping into next. And that is to Stalker 2. Man. Ooh, I wanted to jump on that game because I would love to hear your thoughts about it, because we got a deep dive. What was it, on Monday? We got a cool deep dive about the game. I mean, I was really amazed with the graphics. I was really amazed with the details of the game. And they also, like they said, they added some stuff from the old game to the new game, which is pretty cool. And you can explore more from like the stuff from the old game and the new game, which is fantastic. And man, John, since you're here, you're a guest. I want to hear your thoughts about the game. Talk about it, brother.
Well, I actually got to play it last year.
Oh,
I got
nice.
to play about 20 minutes of it twice. It was the same demo, but I just tried different things each time. it was coming together then. It was rough around the edges, is how I would probably word it. It wasn't fully there. But obviously, this is a team that is under, I would say, extraordinary circumstances to develop a game. Game development is hard all on its own. Being shot at and being bombed and having your countrymen and your life under threat adds a certain extra wrinkle to that. I think that is quite understandable because we all know it's seen several delays. Most recently, the one from September to November. But this is a hardcore game. We're talking you got to eat, you got to sleep, you got to drink, you got to survive out in that wasteland, and there's an extraordinary amount of freedom that the developers seem to have built into their vision for Stalker 2. And the recent look at it that we got, I don't know about you guys, but you remember you see the first trailer and you think, yeah, is it going to look like that? They're close, man. That looks like a really interesting game. And weirdly, it's not even something that's particularly for me because I'm a complete wuss and I can't do horror games. And it's not even a horror game, but it looks like it's got some scary bits. So
It's got
maybe
some scary, yeah.
I'll play it and hide behind my missus. But it looks great, and like kudos to the devs, man. Like that is again a passion project that has been brought through hell to come to life, and I can't wait to see their reaction to seeing people get it out there and play it. I think it's at Gamescom again this year, so we'll get another hands on with it. In the coming weeks, and whenever the embargo is and we're allowed to talk about it, we'll talk about it. But yeah, I think it looks great.
Awesome. How about you, Plume? We know you've been quiet, so let's give the mic to you. Tell me your thoughts about Stalker 2, brother. Plume, you're muted. Plume, you're muted.
Oh, there we go. Sorry.
Ah,
Yeah, I'm like with John on this one. If they first showed it off, I was like, holy crap, this graphically and the atmosphere looks just insane. And I was thinking, is this actually what it's going to be like when it does release? But the recent trailers they've given to us is kind of pointing that they are going to be pulling it off with like everything that they are under, which is crazy to think about. But yeah, hardcore, the survival elements. They did a huge walkthrough of like, or a deep dive into the game, and it seems like the atmosphere of this game is going to just completely draw you into it. I've never played the first one, so I would be going into this one completely blind. But I think it's gonna be pretty cool, and I can't wait to see. Like, I still have that big question: is like, how is this thing gonna look on the consoles versus the PC? Like, are we gonna get similar looks to it? Like, how are we gonna get we don't know any of like the performance mode or anything? Not that I care that much, but just because the graphics look insane. So we'll
because
see.
I wonder something about the game, right? Like with the screw thing, I see he throws screws out there. He's always on throwing screws, like to activate some things like the whirlwind, some fire on the ground. I was like, what's going on with the screws? Can anyone answer me that question? Because I couldn't understand what the screws are made for.
So there are anomalies hidden in the
Yeah.
world, and you can trigger them to identify them, is my understanding, by just checking. It's almost like throwing out something ahead of you to trigger the trap before you trigger it. But not all anomalies are life-threatening. Some may slow you down as you land and other such things like that. So it's going to be, it's a world to explore out there. And it's worth saying, Plume, you said you'd never played the original. I think the Stalker series is on sale, the older games, right now on the Xbox store. So maybe worth the punt
Yeah,
if you're intrigued enough.
that collection that they put out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they pushed it to 2025 or November now is when
November
they pushed it to?
20th is when it's
November
coming
20th.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. How about you, Science Cypher? Tell me, did you see that showcase on Monday about Stalker 2? Tell me, what are your thoughts if you did see it? And I think you actually did play, I think you did play part one, didn't you?
Yes, yeah. So I have played them. I actually played them back when they first came out on PC back in the day, and it's really nice to go to this remaster version because it was a little rough back in PC time, but I almost feel like some of that like drab, like really dull color that they had facing the anomalies and stuff that would like pop up, I feel like it was actually a really cool contrast that made the game scary. Made it like super creepy back in the day when I was playing that thing. Like back when it first came out, that thing was visually stunning. As far as it came, like with all the games coming out at the time, this one, this new one looks visually just stunning as well. And I definitely agree with John. Is like I had reservations that this thing was actually going to come out looking like that. Because let's be honest, like we've definitely had the wool pulled over our eyes in the past when it comes to some of these video games. And from what I can tell, these guys are really walking the walk and they are delivering a product that, I think that whole team should be very proud of. They've gone through a level of hell that I couldn't even imagine. Lost a lot of people in the process. And so it's honestly for me, it's a weird, surreal experience. The fact that we're actually going to get to see this thing release. Because to be honest, I thought there for a while whenever we saw that there was a delay or any sort of push, I was convinced that this thing was never going to make it to light and actually be playable for us. So hats off to them. They deserve the utmost respect for what they've gone through to get it to us.
Yeah, I mean the game is looking great. I mean we're gonna get 35 unique weapons, which that is amazing. And what's incredible, and I'm trying to understand, is the way the game is gonna work because there's no leveling up. They said it wasn't gonna be any leveling up in the game. So I was wondering how is that gonna work because okay, they said like running through like the game, like to know the areas and everything that goes around it. That was something I was like, But since like you said, you play Stalker One, right? And you probably know more about this because I did not play Stalker One yet. So now I know it's for sale. I could probably jump into it, and check it out. But when they mean like you have to know better the areas and everything that goes on, I mean, what's the experience, with Stalker One?
It was John, maybe you can talk on this too, but like that thing was
Yeah.
felt very survival. Um,
Yeah,
it was an
it's
early
hardcore as
survival game.
fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. Like the everything from the inventory to just the world that you're traversing, everything about that game is hard and it's intense. Like they build a level of tension when you're roaming that environment that you just don't get in a lot of games because they understand that it's a scary place. Like, as soon as you mention Chernobyl to anyone in general, like usually there's a little bit of a cringe like, "Oh dear god." Okay, sure. And then like once you get there and you actually start roaming around, just in general, like the interactions you have with the different people that are out there, the other stalkers and stuff, like everything about it just has this atmospheric flair, um, and an intense difficulty if you're not careful. So you have to watch your inventory. You have to be very cautious. You're paying very close attention to what you're carrying with you because it will mean life or death depending on what you're coming up
So
against in the next building or wherever you're going.
so basically you gotta count your bullets in this game. Like count your bullets, make
Yeah,
sure you don't waste
it's
them. Oh my
if
god.
if I remember correctly, because I only dipped my toes back into this remaster version, but if I remember correctly, this was even more aggressive when it came to bullets and stuff than like the high difficulty Metro. Like when you played Metro, that first one, there was a lot of bullet counting, there was a lot of managing your resources, and this definitely makes you aware of what resources you have with you. It's intense.
All right. All right. All right. All right. So yeah. I mean, any final thoughts on soccer too, so I can move on real quick to crazy updates and then jump into Gamescom because man, I really do want to talk Gamescom for a little bit, and that's gonna
Go
take
for
us
it.
like yeah, all right, all right, all right. So real quick, I'm jumping into crazy updates. It's just me telling everybody just some stuff that's been going on out there. Quick stuff, nothing like wow,
Yeah,
but yeah, it's
couple
big stuff.
couple key
Couple
items, right?
couple key items, yeah, yeah. So real quick, let me jump into it. We got Kanetsugami, Path of Goddess, surpassed 500K players, which is awesome. I mean, I don't know if you all play Kanetsugami. I gotta hop into it. I mean, I keep forgetting that game exists, but now reading this, I said, "Oh, Louis, you gotta play that game because it's got hack and slash." And I'm a big hack and slash fan, right? I'm a big hack and slash. Why the heck not? Doom plus Doom 2 Enhanced Edition is now available for Xbox Game Pass subscribers. Hashtag QuakesCon, which we have new single player episode, online multiplayer for 16 players. Man, we really do how to do that online multiplayer thing, man. I mean, a BFG, all of y'all with that thing, or Super Shotgun your butts. That's what I'll be doing, man. 4K 120 FPS on supported hardware, which is awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Sony Fire Sprite Dark Horror game to be from an established IP, potentially releasing on PC day one. Game designer Emily Stell lists the project as narrative horror title for PS5 and PC. I heard a rumor whether that's going to be day one. Is that true, or is that finally confirmed that it's actually coming to PC day one? Oh, I don't know.
I don't have anything on that, but it wouldn't surprise me at this point.
Which one's coming to PC day one? Say again.
The Sony Frost Sprite Dark Horror game supposedly is going to drop to PC day one. Supposedly,
The rumor, I think.
No idea. Does it make sense for Sony to do that? Yes.
Yes, it does. It does.
Whether they'll do it though, who knows?
As long they don't add the damn PSN account thing, we're good. We're good. Because I mean, seriously, when they add that thing on there, that means we're blocked. I'm blocked from playing those games. I'm blocked.
Yeah.
I'm one of those countries that I'm blocked to playing any Sony game on Steam. Not kidding you. I can't even buy it. I can't even nothing. There's nothing. I can't even see it on my Steam. They're poof disappeared. So yes, the next one is Ready to Dawn Studio. Ready at Dawn Studios developers behind games like God of War and Daxter has been shut down by Meta. Oh no. Descenders next announced for Xbox Series X and Xbox One and PC in 2025 day one title for Xbox Game Pass, which that is awesome. Awesome stuff. And last but not least, former Naughty Dog and COD devs that No Moon Studios' first early screenshot of third-person shooter game first project will be a third-person action adventure AAA single game as per job listing. That's cool. So that's it for crazy updates. So Silence, should I hand you back the microphone so we can head into the Gamescom conversation, or should I do it?
Yeah, I can jump onto it here in a second, but I did want to say if anyone slept on the original Descenders, make sure that you jump in and give that a go, because that game is a lot of fun. That's a fun one to just kind of like throw a podcast on, just kick back and listen to while you're cruising around. So yeah, don't sleep on it. Don't sleep on the sequel. Yeah, let's get into Gamescom, gentlemen. So I think what I want to throw out here real quick while we still have John hanging out with us is Gamescom predictions. So I think I'm trying to remember the past with Nintendo in regards to Gamescom. They don't usually have much of a presence, if I remember correctly. What do you expect? Let's say one item from Sony and one item from Xbox that you think we'll see at Gamescom as a prediction. And it can be pie in the sky. It can be as wild as you want to go.
I have to be careful here. Do you want a prediction or do you want a prediction?
I want a prediction.
Insider info.
I'm not going to. I can't.
I'll leave this up to you.
I've agreed things and I've signed things. Let me tease. I'll do a tease. Right. This is just a random non-platform related tease. So I'm not going to tell you who it is or what it's for. But there is something being shown that personally had me super excited from a studio that I have loved their past couple of games, and I got a glimpse of it and I was like, oh, and it does something new with what they do, and I'm very hyped. I know that is super nebulous.
It's fair,
but if people know me, they'll have an idea. I like the arty-farty stuff, right? I like the smaller games. That's about where I'll leave that thing. But I could also throw in there that we've obviously got all of the rumors going on tonight of Microsoft apparently announcing a certain Forza Horizon in Mexico coming to a different platform, but I'm sure everyone will remain calm and no one will list war or console war at all. But if you are console warring, please, may I recommend a card game to get it out of your system? I'm joking.
That's perfect.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
That's a
Let's
small
go get-
tease, but I mean, I think we
I
know
like
that Microsoft are going to demo or talk a little bit more about indie.
Yes.
And as a kid of the 80s, there's a clip of me watching the Indiana Jones reveal where they showed Marcus, and I'm literally, I don't know where this voice came from, but I was like, it's Marcus! It's Marcus! Like, I don't know where I got all high pitched, but I can't wait to play Indiana Jones. Like, I am delighted that exists, and machine games are awesome, so I hope we get to see more of that.
Yes, Machine Games was definitely the right pick. I think if there's anyone that knows about bashing Nazis, that's the one. That's the one you go for. Plume. Gamescom predictions. One Xbox, one PlayStation. I want your insider knowledge on this one as well.
Oh, I don't.
Fake insider knowledge, John. Just to clarify.
One Xbox and one PlayStation. It's like it's hard. I feel like first party stuff, you may get like one. Well, obviously, we're gonna get one big thing after what John just said. That's what I'm assuming at this point. That's gonna get people excited, but I'm thinking we're gonna probably. I'm just gonna go with hardware for both. Like I think we're gonna see some announcements for the hardware from Xbox. Um, like maybe a new controller that they've been talking, and then maybe we get that PS5 Pro announcement from PlayStation. So I feel like we're gonna be having it's gonna be more hard. Like I'm excited for all the games that are gonna be shown off, especially from the Xbox booth. They said it's their biggest booth, and um, just seeing more in-depth views of all of the games that they are working on is going to be cool, especially if people get there and get hands-on, and then you get the opinions of what people think about the stuff that's coming out. So that's going to be cool to see. But I think like some of the bigger announcements is just going to be stuff that's hardware related. We kind of already know what's coming out this year before the end of the year. So yeah, I'm gonna stick with that. Maybe PlayStation does something crazy and announces their PlayStation PC app, because I do think to Louis' question earlier, I do think they're going to be putting a lot more of their stuff day one in PC, even like Until Dawn. They just announced the release date's coming to PC day one in October as well as PS5. So maybe we see something crazy like that.
Goodness, you threw all sorts of stuff out there.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, I went more than one.
Louis, try and follow that up.
Try and follow that up. Oh Lord, that's gonna be a tough one. I mean, look, what I want to see in Gamescom, right? I want to see things from like the other dev teams. I want to see things from EA. See what can EA can throw in. Like we heard around that they working on a new map, Battlefield. Supposedly it's gonna be like the best one. I think they said the same thing with Battlefield 2020. What is it? 2042, 2043? I don't know. I got lost with all the Battlefield names, but I think I want to see some of the stuff that EA is working on if it gets announced over at Gamescom, which will be fantastic. Because I mean, we all know what Xbox is actually going to show out here. I mean, they got at least the stuff that they didn't show. Like for example, I want to see. Oh my God, what's that game called that we just saw a trailer in 2020 or 2021? I think it's Contraband, right? It was Contraband, right?
Oh,
What's going on with that? Yeah.
Yeah, we want to know.
That was a while ago.
Yeah, we want to know what's going on with Contraband. I hope it gets announced like on this Gamescom and to be talked about, because seriously, there's some stuff out there we just don't see. Everwild, but also see what's going on with Everwild. What else do we have out here? Like I said, with the Xbox, we all know like some of the projects working on. We got Gears Z Day. Want to see a little bit more if they can of Gears Z Day, which will be fantastic because we see that the coalition, they've been working on Gears for quite a while. I mean, the supposed believed. I mean, there's going to be a Gears of War. What was it? The Gears of War.
Marcus Phoenix collection.
Yeah, the Marcus Phoenix collection. Thank you. That's been talked about so many times.
The elusive Marcus Phoenix collection.
That's been talked about. I think even more than the PS5 Pro. Jesus, I mean, that's been talked about a lot. No joke. I mean, I'm not kidding you.
It's because it seems like such a no-brainer to put out, and people would be so hyped as they're waiting for Gears of War E Day. If you could make it like the Master Chief collection, just have like a a single UI where you access all of the gear stuff, like it would be incredible. It just seems like a no-brainer for them to do.
Yeah, it'd be a great way to introduce all the PlayStation community to the games as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
I'm just teasing.
No, no,
Just
no.
teasing.
Hey, you tease, but given a lot of the stuff we heard over the last like 6 to 12 months, I don't think it would surprise me. I
No,
think
Exactly.
like, for the record, I have no idea, but
No.
it would make sense. I think like anyone that still gets up in their list wars and gets upset at this stuff now, just like if people are upset that Forza Horizon 5, a 3-year-old game at this point,
Yeah.
might come out on another platform and make a bunch more money
It's
so
gonna
that we
print
get
money.
Forza Horizon 6.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Who gives a genuinely?
cares?
Who gives a shit? Like
Yeah.
it's just a console, and if your answer is, well, I'm just going to buy a PlayStation, cool. Enjoy waiting 3 years to play that game. Like, what's the big deal?
And they'll still get your money when you
Exactly.
buy it there too. It's like,
Yeah,
I
But
don't
anyway,
know.
that's just me.
I agree with you 100%. I mean, you're right on the dot because that's why I tell everybody, hey, listen, because I mean, I was sad and I was away from, I was in Germany this year with the wife and the family and stuff. We were out there, for some work and stuff. And I was sad I wasn't here for the 3 day, 72-hour rumor run, whatever it was called. I don't know. It was basically something, it had a nickname for it, right? I was sad. I was sad I wasn't here so I can say the same things you're saying. I mean, Jesus, this is a way to get money. This is a way to grow. Why the heck not? Let's grow. Let's get the money, baby. Let's get the money to make more games for us because that's what that's at the end. Because I always say this. Like for example, in chat they're saying, "Oh yeah, putting Gears of War, popularize it, even more reach, new heights of success." Listen, Cygnus, go ahead and buy it. I encourage you to buy it. Thank you. That means more games for me on Game Pass. Go ahead, buddy. I applaud that for you. Go ahead and buy it. That's what I tell
Yeah.
everybody. I mean, it's more money for them
Yeah.
to develop these awesome games and continue on going. What the heck?
The money goes back to the same bag at the end of the day.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
whether it's a thing where like you're, sticking your thumb up and being like, oh ha ha ha, I get your precious now or whatever, like it doesn't matter. It's like John said, is like who cares? Ultimately, like I yeah, okay, so you get on another console and we know that with all these games that have been coming out, they've been strongly encouraging and promoting the idea of doing the cross play across these different systems and stuff. If you're playing the game as well, that means I've got more people in the multiplayer hopper that I can go against. That's not a bad thing. Like
Exactly.
as an Xbox fan, primarily, that doesn't bother me. Like I don't
More
care.
people on controller as well.
That's
You don't have the PC advantage. What I'm thinking is probably funny now too is because when all that craziness started, you saw all the people saying they were abandoning Xbox, and Xbox now knows how many people actually abandoned Xbox after they put the games on PlayStation. It probably wasn't that many, so they're gonna keep putting more games on there and print money with games like
I
Forza
mean,
Horizon 5.
we
Yeah.
got from BG Charts a result these days that they're actually in third. Coming close to 30 million. So what the heck?
This the thing with this line of conversation is, if you try and be sensible, like we are being right now, all of us are being very sensible, and try and like talk it through and be like, they are a business, and this is why they do the things they do. The console warriors beat you down by saying, "Oh, you're just defending Microsoft." It's like Microsoft does not need me to defend it. All right, it is a $3 trillion company. It does not give a crap what I think or what I say, and arguably, it doesn't really give two hoots about what this like it is. I'm sorry, guys, this is a tiny bubble of the internet that's super hardcore about this stuff. Now, it doesn't excuse the fact that I think Microsoft need to do a better job in Europe and across the world outside of America in terms of promoting the Xbox platform. I think they need to do a better job in releasing their games in a regular cadence, on time, without bugs. Outside of all of that, when we talk through these things, I had people come to me and go, "Oh, you caused a 2013 existential crisis for Microsoft when I talked about Starfield, right? At some point, right?
they threw that
You
at
guys
you?
didn't you guys
My
kick it off?
It was that, and that's the weird thing, right? That weekend was horrible because I had so many people messaging me and so much abuse,
Imagine.
right?
Awesome.
I had Alana Pierce on a YouTube video calling me a liar.
Wow.
I will collect
What?
receipts, right? Because like it's
Oh.
very clear, I think, at this point that Microsoft have a new strategy, and the strategy is they want to make a bunch of money. And regardless of sales, regardless of everything else, they have the biggest user base. Yes, they bought Activision Blizzard to do that, but
Mhm.
third place or no, they're making a shit ton of money.
Exactly.
Who cares? I don't care about how much money they make. I just care about playing good games. And I've got a PC. And PlayStation are like, oh, we're not making enough money on just PlayStation, so we need to start doing that more. The games industry is going to change. Right? It is a super exciting time
Mhm.
in the generation itself. And I think that the next couple of years are going to be even more interesting. We're going to see more change and more turbulence because it's not enough now to just pump out these AAA games that are one and done. It is not enough, not at the fidelity they're at. And I loved reading the other day from Jez at Windows Central that they are creating
The double A.
select smaller teams. Because for me, as a dad with 2 kids and not a lot of time, like that's the worst thing about covering the gaming industry
Oh
is
my
less time
god.
to actually play the freaking things, right?
Yeah.
The idea that I might get 3 or 4 new, maybe visiting old IPs and bringing stuff back to life that are like 6 to 8 hour experiences and they're just one and dones that aren't trying to break the genre open and do things that games have never done before, but just experimental, just different, just short and sweet. Sign me up. I want more of that. I
Exactly.
loved hearing that from Microsoft. So
I'm
there's plenty to be excited about coming
John,
forward.
John, me and Silent Cypher were talking about that last week, and that's funny because we were talking about, man, okay, these big open world games lately are just tiring, and especially the ones that are not as well engaging. I don't know, like I gave an example with Assassin's Creed Valhalla, like for me, it wasn't that much engaging, and also there's a lot of multiplayers out there which are fun. Don't mind me, saying it. They're a lot of fun, but man, like I want back a Rainbow Six Vegas, right? Linear play, just run in there with the graphics now. Use new movement, new strategies, kind of like what we saw in Perfect Dark. I mean, oh my god, the Perfect Dark was beautiful. That's one of those games I want to see more talks about in Gamescom too. That's one of those games I was going to mention earlier. But I'm with you there. We want simple games out here that you can sit there and play for like between 8 to 12 hours, as much as tops 14 hours. For me, that's just good. I mean, like for example, lately I've beaten a bunch of games lately, right? And I sit here and I'm like, should I go back to Star Wars Survivor, Jedi Survivor? Should I go back to Fallout 4? And Fallout 4 is the open world is engaging, but man, it's just me getting into that open world game again, just sitting there for hours. It's like I want to just skip a little bit, like to advance a little bit, just get it done, almost done. But I'm one of those guys that like to get things done, so that's why it takes me a long time. But really, I want more of linear games. I'm with you 100% there. I'm happy they mentioned the Double A studio. That was something that I said, good. We want 8 to as most 14-hour games out here. It's
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
It's better. And like you said, we're getting old, man. I mean, sooner or later I'm gonna be having kids, and then playing games is gonna be tough for me. I mean, I don't know what
We're
that.
getting old. I already am old. I feel like I'm the oldest person here, looking at all your hairlines, apart from you,
Uh,
Cypher, but that's okay.
Hairlines. Yeah.
Apart
Airlines.
from you, but you're all young. There's no wrinkles or the shadow of
Hey,
death
hey,
across your face. It's
hey,
I've
I got a
I,
bald spot right here and it's growing. I got a bald spot right here. What are you talking about? I got a big ass bald spot right there.
I'll have you know right now, the EV Mux app is great because there's a beautification tool that you can use for the camera. So
oh
that's
Exactly.
why I
shit. I've
don't
been missing out.
that's that's why I don't look 11 right now. Just a heads up, just so you're aware.
um,
Um
but
yeah.
but
Oh,
oh,
sorry, go ahead.
go ahead, Finish your thought.
I was just gonna say real quick, like what works perfect for those 7 to 10 hour experiences are all these awesome portable consoles that we're getting now, these ROG allies and stuff like
Yes.
that, right?
Yes.
And so something like this definitely appeals to me because the idea of us having something like that's more of a bite-sized experience I can sit there and enjoy while I'm at a soccer practice and there's not really much going on, or like a play practice where I'm sitting out in the car just waiting for my daughter to be done with practice. Stuff like that is great. Trying to play some of those bigger games, I just feel like when I come back to it later, I'm like, where the hell was I? Like that non-linear fashion does not cater well to me getting older, because the more responsibility we get, the less time we have. And every time I get back to one of those big games, I kind of feel overwhelmed. I just feel like there's too much extra crap in there. You're trying to fit, 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag. And that doesn't work for my play style anymore, personally.
I agree with you there. I agree with you there. So yeah, continue on with Gamescom. Is I mean,
Yes.
I want to see the talks about the next leap to the technological leap they've been talking about. I want to hear some stuff about that. That's something that I seriously. I mean, I want to see what's going to happen next gen, and I have a feeling it's coming. It's coming sooner than later. I think for 2026 is when we are actually going to get the next gen consoles, or the beginning of the next gen consoles. I really have that feeling. I don't have any information to confirm it, but I actually do feel it's when it's going to happen. But seriously, I want to hear Microsoft talk about that. I want to hear him bring up that subject. And also, I want to hear, like I said, from other devs, what they've been working on, what's coming up. Like, for example, I also want to hear if they're actually making a Titanfall 3. Come on, EA, show me Titanfall 3. Show me a new Titanfall. I want to see that because I played part one, wasn't a big fan, but part two, man, that campaign of part two was beautiful. Hands down, the campaign of Titanfall 2 was beautiful, and the multiplayer was a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean, like I said, more stuff. Project Mara is another one I want to hear more about because I don't know what's going on with that game. I also mentioned, what was it, Everwild from Rare? Let's see how they're going. Also, State of Decay, from Microsoft, State of Decay 3. Oh,
Yeah.
man. I want to see what they're going to show with that game because I love State of Decay 2. I played the hell out of it. I loved it. Who else is working on? Oh, yeah, Ubisoft. Now I'm going to throw some
Luke,
stuff real quick.
Luke, you're going to list every single thing that could possibly be announced.
Oh, I hope so. I hope so. But this is gonna be my last one. But for
Okay.
Ubisoft, please, please, please give us Splinter Cell. It's time. Come on, it's
Yeah.
time. It's time. But yeah, I'm done now.
I was just scrolling on Twitter and I see an Xbox Era article here, and maybe we'll get this announcement. Rumor Final Fantasy 16 is coming to Xbox. Coming, it's a reset.
Interesting.
Nate Drake on Reset Era says that it is coming to Xbox. So maybe that'll be a big announcement that Xbox has.
Yeah,
That would definitely have some people excited.
Yep.
not me. Couldn't give a shit.
I'm right there.
Final
with you.
Fantasy, whatever.
Yeah.
That's just me.
I keep hoping the next Final Fantasy they bring out will actually live up to the name and be the Final Fantasy. It never happens, and I'm forever disappointed. But John, hardware. What do you think for hardware? Do you think we're going to see a glimpse behind the curtain for any
No
of them?
chance. No.
I would imagine you're probably on the same page with me in thinking that realistically, hardware we probably won't see until the Video Game Awards.
Oh, there goes my predictions.
If they're gonna show anything hardware wise this year, the Game Awards would be it. But even then, I'm like, I do. No, I'm not going to say that. It wouldn't surprise me, and this is pure conjecture and speculation, that they would have conversations with partners about new hardware capabilities behind closed doors, and we
Absolutely.
might months ahead get some scuttlebutt bubbling up on that. But I don't think from opening night, like, because you got to remember there isn't an Xbox show specifically, right? There is opening night live, and that's it.
Right.
And we know that certain things are going to be there. There'll probably be some surprises, but I don't think that is the show you show hardware off on. You either wait for the Game Awards or you do it on your showcase, down the line. But if they're targeting 2026 for this supposed new era handheld versus, fancy pants box, let's wait and see. I guess question for you guys actually is, what do you think? What do you think Microsoft should do? Do they make their handheld target lower so it's more affordable, or do they say, you know what, the Xbox hardcore are hardcore, so let's go big or go home. We'll make this equivalent to like a high-end Steam Deck OLED or higher. We'll make this very, very powerful, and we'll make our home console. Yeah, forget the dreams of $399. Like, fuck it. The hardcore will buy it. Let's go all out. Let's make it a $699. But would you want that, or would you be very cross and think that Microsoft are making the worst mistake they've ever made by making something absolutely monstrous at a high price? I'm just curious. Like, where do you guys draw the line in terms of what you want to see? Do you want to see affordability meets performance, or you want them to just go all out, price be damned?
I'll go first. I
Go for it.
think they have to go with affordability, and a couple of reasons is the main reason for me is literally because like the battery life on these things sucks. So even if you're playing games at high power, you're going to get it for like 30 minutes or an hour. And with the whole Xbox catalog, it's a lot of the draw is just having everything in that one place, having your back catalog. If they can make a handheld affordable, can play the current games, but then you can access everything you've had from like the OG to the 360 and back compatible. I think that'll be very appealing. So I'm good with the affordable thing as long as there's like something as well to supplement for people who want that hardcore going in between if you're somebody who gets both.
Yeah, but I mean, like just to add a little flavor, little salsa on top of this. When you say affordable, right? Let's put price to one side for a second. I would assume, or I would like as a gamer, I would be happy with Series S level capabilities in a handheld.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'd be fine with that. I
right.
was saying when we've been talking about the handheld on the show, like months ago, whenever I was like, if they just released it and got it out before the Nintendo Switch 2, made it like the Series S, like I think that would be great because you give people access to everything they have right now, and everyone will
Just
be
call it the
excited for that.
Series SP. Yeah,
Yeah,
done. Now the thing is, when I say we talk about affordability, a Series S as a portable with those specs running at that power draw, that's not cheap. And that's where I'm like, is this going to be ARM? Is ARM far enough along for it to run this kind of tech at the power levels that it needs? Have they got enough of a translation layer to make everything backwards compatible and forwards compatible? Well, there's a lot of questions I have about their entry into this new world. Like, we're seeing all these other handhelds out there, and let's look at those other handhelds. They're all $699, right? Or more or less, or $599.
Right.
They're not cheap. Like, that's not affordable. Like, I think, I'm just being honest, I think the world of a $399 handheld is not going to happen. They're not going to subsidize this. If it's going to happen, it's going to be pricey. That's just my gut feel. But it's not for mum and dad or little Timmy. It's for us big kids. That's my gut. That's what my gut says. But I don't know. We'll see.
yeah.
How about you, Silent? Oh, you gotta say something?
Um,
It's just like it's expensive. You're right, and they're really not portable. Like you don't get any time out of
Yeah,
these
2 or
things.
3 hours tops, right?
It's like always plugged in for me when I'm using my Asus or RG Ally. It's like so. Yeah, that's to me. Yeah, that may be it's going to be a tougher sell if it's like $599 for people.
I'm
But
intrigued. I can't wait to see what they do.
because remember, Microsoft on the console, they say they take a loss, so they can actually probably make it affordable. I mean, they probably make it an affordable price with a good battery life. I mean, I'm not the biggest techie guy. Everybody knows that. I keep saying I'm not the biggest techie guy, but I just want something that can be standard, affordable, and a good price that I can say, okay, I'm gonna go get it. And what I would also like to get is a high-end console besides the handheld. Like you mentioned with like being kind of like the Series S, but a little bit more powerful, so we can stop blaming the Series S. Like what's going out there. But yes, I would like it to be like a little bit powerful, affordable, and have a good battery because, like Plume says, because I had what was that one I had? I had the One X player, I think it's called. I had the One X player, and I took it on an airplane, and basically I was like, oh, I turned it on, played a little bit, I was like, oh damn, it's dead. I was like, what's going on? Oh, what's going on? But then I went googled up a couple things, and I was like, let me see how can battery last longer. You got to lower the resolution, and that's where it gets me, right? because for me the volume is lowering the resolution, and that happened to me once, or putting the resolution high. Silent Cypher was laughing at me when I was doing that live. I got confused. Like I said, I'm not the biggest techie guy.
Oh Jesus, John, you wanna hear a story? I'll keep it short, but homeboy jumped into our private
Whoa,
DMs
whoa,
one
whoa!
day.
I have to interrupt you because it looks to me like Mash has just gifted 10 memberships in your channel. Just boom.
Damn.
Yeah, Mash.
This is how he does things. He just rocks up, gifts some
Oh.
memberships, and rolls out.
Dude,
Mash.
Mash, thank you so much first for stopping by, of course, but thank you so much for the generosity. Like, that's super unnecessary, but we definitely appreciate it. Make sure, if any of you guys got a membership, make sure that you thank Mash for that. That's super awesome. I really appreciate that, man. Thank you. Thank you.
Sorry, I
Oh,
interrupted.
no, you're good. You're good.
You're
Old
good.
man, for a second, I had to think about it. Get back to where I was. Yes. So Louis with volume and resolution. So homeboy one day jumps into our private DMs and he's like, "Yo, I'm having issues with this. I can't figure it out. Blah blah blah." Long story short, he was trying to, what was it, the resolution or the volume you were trying to tweak? It was the
No,
volume, right?
no, it was I was trying to like to get the game like to fit into the screen, the resolution. Yeah,
That's
that
right.
was
Yeah.
it.
So he was trying to get it windowed down to a proper size, and he was going into the audio settings to try and find those details. Um, when Louis says that he's not very techie, quote unquote, this is also the man that asked us a little while ago if it would be okay for him to use water inside his computer to clean the parts. So
He also asked how to uninstall games on a
Yes,
PC.
it did.
Oh,
Yes,
God.
yes.
Oh, Louis.
I'm sorry.
Oh, Louis.
I had to, because I thought it was like back in the day. You go into like the shortcut thing and just delete it out of there, and it's already disappeared. But now you got to get in there and hit the uninstall button, all this stuff. Like, I'm lost with this thing. I'm lost.
It's it's a modern miracle, the fact that he hosts a show every morning.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
it is.
yeah, a star for effort.
Thank
Yeah.
you, thank you.
Yeah. He
But like,
crushed it.
but like I was saying though, with the handheld though, I mean, it's got to be an affordable price, because if not, we all know what's going to happen, and they have to go out there and compete at the end of the day with all the rest of the handhelds that are pretty expensive, like you say, high end handhelds. And like I said though, I also want like a good console in a good price range that I could have here at home. I want that too, and I hope they deliver both systems out here for us to enjoy.
Fair.
That's, huh. How about you, Silent?
Okay, so I'm going to probably approach it more like John. I think realistically it's going to be more of a bespoke piece of hardware that's going to cost you more. They are not going to take a loss on this product and make it in mass. It's going to be a smaller production item. So you will pay for this item. If you want that quality, if you want that level, then you're going to pay for it. I think that's the way forward for them. They're not going to take a huge loss on it because they don't want to take that loss, but they also know that the market can bear if they don't take the loss on it. Because as John mentioned, we've got these systems sitting right around $5.99, $6.99. I don't see any world where everyone's going to balk at it as long as the functionality of the system is correct. As long as we have the ability to install the games, stream the games, the function to load other launchers, as we've heard a lot of talks about, I think that's the path forward for them, and it'd be a smart way for them. I don't think the price is going to be that big of a deal. If the thing can do all those things and it can even just play the games the way that we can on other systems right now, I don't see any world where that'll be a problem for people.
Yeah, especially if it's
personally.
a dockable device as well.
Yes, of
Because
which we've
you've got-
kind of heard stuff about too, maybe. So
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. You can dock all of the ROG alloys, and the Lenovo Legion goes to a degree is that you can plug it in HDMI and they're powered and it just works, right?
right.
So if Microsoft can come up with that smart way, because the Switch changed the game, you got to remember Nintendo had two separate, disparate markets between their handhelds and their home consoles,
Yes.
and they pushed them together, and they've had enormous success. And I think that if Microsoft can get it right, and if they can get the price right, and if they can get the power levels right, and if they can give gamers, because like I would be fine with 1080p on a handheld.
Same here.
I'd be fine with a Series S as a handheld, and then it can run all these other things. Great, perfect. I'm delighted with that. The question is, what do they do for the folks that want the big beefy home console that isn't a handheld? And that's where I'm like, well, do they go for that affordability, or do they just go, look, we're always going to be third place, so we're going to have our group of people that love the service, love the ecosystem, love the controller, love our Game Pass subscription, which isn't going to be on any other console. And this console can now do all these things that PCs can do and sideload these stores. Who's to say that the next Xbox console isn't $6.99 or $7.99? Like, I don't know,
Yeah.
but it wouldn't surprise me to see Microsoft be like, yeah, we're not competing with those guys anymore because there's no point for us. You, the market, have made that very clear. So we're going to go off and do our own thing. And I think, if anything, seeing Microsoft try something else, which is what they're doing with game releases on third-party platforms, by the way, they're just like, okay, we live in a world where the market says, well, 80% of the games that reviewers touch are all going to be reviewed on PlayStation 5 because that's where they prefer to play. Well, if there's nothing we can do about that, and I know that people say, well, just release great games. I think they do already, but not enough. So let's see them try other things.
I think Microsoft and Xbox right now are literally telegraphing what their plan is moving forward. Yeah, the hardware is starting to drop off, but again, going back to our conversation earlier, they're diversifying the portfolio, they're expanding their reach across other markets. So I think they're basically saying, like, yes, we will still have something for you guys that like to have a console, but we're thinking bigger now.
Yeah,
we're not thinking a small plastic box. We're thinking a wider ecosystem.
Yeah.
So
now, are they gonna license their OS to other third-party manufacturers?
Perfectly good question. Who's to say they can't say, here, ROG Ally 2, here's the Xbox OS, and it can run all the Xbox games, and you can fill it with whatever hardware you want. Here's the specs that you have to, minimum specs you have to do.
I don't know if you guys saw yesterday, Steam is doing it now with SteamOS, so they're going to be competing with them.
Okay. So yeah,
interesting time.
Yep, it is.
Yeah. Well, I think on that note, as much fun as we've had, I think we need to kind of call it for today. Louis, do you want to take the plane down?
Yeah.
Safely.
What does that mean?
Oh, safely. I was about to say. What
do you want to land this plane?
Yeah, land is that sounds
is that better?
Yes, take the plane down.
Sorry.
No, we won't do that.
I'm
but
getting
anyways,
old and sleepy.
Oh, it's okay. But anyways, man, what a great episode. John, thank you so much, brother, for joining us on this awesome episode. Really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. It was a cool interview. We all stay quiet. Just hearing you talk, hearing you speak is fantastic. And really, good luck. And not only good luck, I really hope that your cards sell well and actually becomes a digital game also. As prosperous it does, man. I hope it gets really big because you guys do an amazing job over there in Xbox Era. Seriously, thank you for all the hard work you guys do. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
But yeah, time to land the plane, guys. And man, oh man, first off, let me thank the chat. You guys kept it rocking and rolling. You guys seriously are awesome. You guys are fantastic. I really love you all to death. Thank y'all for the super chat. Thank you, Mash, for the memberships, and thank you all for being a member too. That really helps us, support the channel and everything. You guys rock. You guys are awesome. Really love you all to death. So let us start with our awesome guest, John Clark. Please tell everybody where they can find you, sir.
Yeah, sure. You can, if you so choose, catch up with me on Twitter or X if Elon has his way, on gamer tag is @_Sickmechanico_. Yeah, what can I say? Someone had stolen Sickmechanico already. Or at Xbox Era. Obviously, xboxera.com. Our Discord, discord.gg/Xbox Era as well. It's a cool place to come hang out. I'm floating around on all of those things most of the time because I never unplug or sleep, as it apparently seems. But big thank you to you guys for letting me come and waffle on at you for a couple of hours. It's been good chats, and it's I always love talking about this stuff because there are so many thoughts and ideas and different opinions, but it's always nice to have a grown-up conversation about it without devolving into silly list wars and stuff like that. So appreciate you guys, and I have to ask this before I bugger off. Is it always a plane? Is it sometimes a bus? Is it sometimes a different vehicle? Is there a submarine episode planned? Because I kind of want to see this evolve.
I kind of like that. That would actually be that'd be a fun change of pace on people. Just do it without even announcing it, right?
Yeah, just out of nowhere, submarine episode. Everyone talks like a member of the Beatles.
We need a submarine simulator, though. I mean, Microsoft, make us a submarine simulator. You're making flight, now make us a submarine simulator. I would actually enjoy playing submarine simulator.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, sounds good. Good idea, though.
I like
Right?
that.
Yeah, I like that too. So that way we can get the footage and do a submarine episode. Boo, boo. I don't know how to make the sound though. I'm trying to. Anyways, Plume, Mr. Plumey, please tell everybody where they can find you, sir.
Yeah. First of all, John, appreciate the conversation and good luck with Console Wars. I hope everyone plays at a Gamescom and hope you get some good feedback and excited to see just how that whole entire project evolves. Yeah, you can find me on X, the Big Plume, and then obviously on the YouTube Plume Gaming. My news shows at 8 a.m. Monday to Friday. It's maybe some extra ones on the weekends, but that's the best places to check me out.
All right. Now, our captain, our dear captain, our handsome captain, Silent Cypher. Please tell everyone where they can find you, sir.
All right. Well, just to doggy on to it, John, thank you so much for coming to hang out with us. Thanks for tolerating my shenanigans and my questions. It was awesome to have you on here, and hopefully this won't be the last time. It'd be great to have you again. You are always welcome.
Appreciate it.
Like you said, it's great to have an adult conversation without people freaking out and falling into tantrums. I always appreciate that as well. It's fun to watch, but it's not really always fun to get involved in when it happens. So I definitely appreciate this type of Discord. Yeah, I wish you guys all the best luck with this. Congrats already on hitting I think you're at like 114% funded so far. So that's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Chat, any of you guys, if you're interested and you have even the slightest interest in a card game, or if you just like video games, go check it out. Show the guys some support. It's awesome. It sounds like it's going to be a blast to play when we get the opportunity. As far as where you can find me, you can obviously find me here every Wednesday, but you will also find me next Friday on Double Barrel Gaming on Mr. Boomstick and Friends, or Breakfast with Boom's channel. I always do that. And then hopefully here in the next little bit, you'll catch me on another episode of Fright Night with Ferocious Fee and Fuzzy Belvedere. We might be doing another horror show here pretty soon. And soon you'll probably be seeing a few projects I've been working on voice work. So we'll see how that goes. But chat, you guys rocked. Thank you guys so much for the support. As always, it was awesome to have you. And just like John said earlier, we can't do any of this stuff without you. So we super appreciate it.
Yeah, you guys are awesome. And where can you find the crazy one? You can find me on Twitter X at Crazy Little Gaming. You can find me on Tuesdays at the Xbox Factor Podcast. I cross some fingers that I can actually hop on the show over the Double Barrel Gaming YouTube channel on Tuesday, right? Pray to God I can hop on the show this Tuesday because lately I've been missing a lot. Just been busy with just a lot of stuff going on. And as always, Wednesdays here in the Xbox International Podcast with Silent Cypher, Sourblow, and the Big Plume. And Good Morning with Crazy Louie from Mondays to Saturday. I just throw it out there on Twitter, throw it out there on Discord, and just say, hey, Lou is hopping on. That's all I say, so we can talk about the morning news and things that are happening and just sit down and chat. That's all we do right there, right? And have some fun. But guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and also hit that bell so it can tell you when XBI content comes on. And guys, remember, let's go, let's rock, and let's get crazy. Yeah, see you all next Wednesday. Bye, guys. Have an awesome one.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've arrived at our destination. For your safety and comfort, please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the captain turns off this live stream. On behalf of Xbox International, I'd like to thank you for joining us on this trip, and we're looking forward to seeing you aboard next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.